Welcome to iRise Conversations with Joan. Welcome to iRise Conversations with Joan, where we explore the stories and strategies of people who have overcome adversity and achieved success in their lives. My name is Joan Nwosu, and I'm the award-winning author of the book iRise, The 10 Secrets to Getting Up When Life Knocks You Down. Our guest today is Marie Mosley. She is an author, a speaker, and a coach. Beginning with several significant family losses, to being a teenage mom, to her survival of a 25-year toxic relationship that ended in a divorce, to her becoming the odds, having a career, a healthy marriage, 4 beautiful children, 2 handsome grandsons, becoming an author, and fulfilling her dreams. Amazing journey. Today, we're going to dive into Marie's inspiring story and learn about her mission to help other women experience a pretty divorce and go ahead and live the life of their dreams. Welcome, Marie, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Just now you made me feel like I want to take you everywhere I go with me. I need you to be the person that introduces me. Thank you so much.
That's so amazing. Your story is such an inspiration, and I really want us to start from there today. So just take us back a little bit to some highs and lows of your journey and how you got on this path of becoming a coach.
Okay. So I was born and raised in the South Bronx, but we lived in kind of a smaller neighborhood because in New York, the buildings are all tall.
Mm-hmm.
So we lived in what you call tenement buildings. Tenement buildings only go up to like the 5th or 6th floor, not any higher. Mm-hmm. When you move into the projects, that's more kind of considered the ghetto part of the Bronx, it has buildings that go up to at least 21 floors. So we lived in the smaller part of the Bronx, close-knit, little village, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like the idea of it takes a village because that's what my childhood felt like. It felt like a village. It felt we knew each other. Everybody in the buildings knew each other. They watched each other's kids. The kids all played together, got along. So you had that close-knit, loving feeling. And then life kind of turned inside out and upside down. My dad passed away when I was 5 years old. And then in between that, we lost our dog, our family dog. She was there before I was. So that's how long she was a part of the family. She was there before I was born. And then 3 months after my dad died, we had a fire. We got burnt out. We lost everything, like complete. I could still see the build. I could still see it. It's like it's still ingrained in my memory. Mm-hmm. Even though I was so young, I remember the night. I remember how cold it was. It was in the dead of December. It was, one of the coldest winters. They couldn't get the fire out because the water was freezing as it went out of the hoses. That's how cold it was. And so, after traveling around a little bit from like the hotels and the Red Cross and going through all of that and getting people's hand-me-downs and all these different things, we ended up living they put us in public housing because where we lived wasn't considered public housing because my mom and dad both worked. So we moved into public housing now, which was the projects, which really turned our lives inside out anymore. There was no more village. It was, I hate to be so dramatic, but it was kind of dog eat dog, even to the point of kill or be killed. Like you had to fight. Yeah, I had my first fight when I was 7, when I moved to those projects. In 2nd grade, my first fight, I got beat up, got my face all scratched up and everything. I mean, you wouldn't even think 7-year-olds act like that.
That's so hard experience.
So a lot of the things that we see today, some of them don't shock me. Mm-hmm. I grew up in the thick of that. You know what I mean? people are seeing it more because of TV, because of the cameras, and but I grew up like that. I grew up with little kids beating you up and doing all of these different things and stuff. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't want to fight with these people. Like, I'm like, Mom, this is not okay. Like, why do we live here? And as a child, you don't understand these things. You don't understand what's happening. You don't understand where your father is. You don't understand, why has our life changed so drastically, so quickly, like back to back to back to back to back. And so, but it really was one of those things where you better get used to where you live now, or you're gonna go under. Like they're gonna hurt you, and you're gonna have to learn. And my brother made me fight. My brother made me. I mean, legitimately made me fight, even though I didn't want to. He made threats of, well, if you don't fight them, then you'll fight me. Like, you're not coming home. Yeah, no, for real. And he's 6 years older than me. And he was like, you better not ever come home, because I'm the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with the oldest being 14 years older than me, and the youngest child above me is 6 years younger than me, and he's male, he can't come outside and fight for me. He can't. He can't jump in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you better learn. You better learn how to fight. And that's it. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of times when people hear these stories, they think it's cliche. They hear rappers talk about it. I don't know if some of them rappers really come from those places, but they hear people talk about this stuff, and it's really real. And especially when you're the new kid on the block, they do this stuff to you. So fast forward, as I'm getting used to the new life and everything like that, my sister, my twin, we 10 years apart, but we were 10 years apart, but I was her little mini me. She dressed me like her, she did my hair like hers. She was given the wrong medication, and it had her hallucinating. It had her, so the doctors, when we took her to the doctor, me and my mom, the doctor was like, just don't take any more of the medication and just bring her back, tomorrow. We'll check and everything. She didn't get an opportunity to go back. She, yeah. Yeah, when I was 12, she and my niece, with my niece in her arms, she went out the window.
No.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I don't know why. Some days I can talk about it, and then other days it's a little bit harder,
Yeah.
But when my sister passed away, like I spiraled. My brain, my everything I just went all over the place. So and there was no counseling, there was no, there was no therapy, there was no take your daughter anywhere to get any type of help.
Yeah.
So so after we buried my sister, so I graduated from elementary school at 12. Sometime in June, the beginning of June. My niece was gone by June 26th, and my birthday was June 20th.
Okay.
So I graduated elementary school, my birthday, and then 6 days later, my niece is gone. So my sister she lived for 2 months at the hospital. She was fighting for her life. And then she passed away August 31st, 2 months after my niece passed away. And literally about a week later, I had to go back to school like it was nothing. Like I didn't just, bury the two most favorite people I had in the world. And I had to go back to school, and just try to function, just function, just go back to school, this is life, just pick up life and go on. And it's not easy for kids, to pick up life and go on, especially the teenager when they're already dealing with a lot of like identity issues and trying to figure themselves out and who they're going to be. And, I don't have breasts, but my girlfriend got breasts because I'm a late bloomer. The boys don't really like it. Like, you understand. So it's girls, and this is the things we're going. So I ended up getting involved with a guy, and I ended up pregnant.
How old were you at this point?
13. Yeah. So a year after my sister was passed away, I was pregnant. And a year after I was pregnant, it's 9 months after I was pregnant, I had a baby. So my oldest daughter was born when I was 14. Yeah, just when I was graduating middle school. She was born July 3rd, and I had to go back to school, to high school. You know what's funny? Even when I told the story in my book, they didn't tell us as I'm telling you, I'm going,
dang. That is like
dang. But yeah, I gave birth to her July 3rd of 1985. In September of 1985, I started high school. First day, go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Over the summer, we made arrangements for babysitting. Mm-hmm. My mom made arrangements for babysitting, so we knew where she would be while I was in school. But go back to school. There was no you gonna stop or you dropping out. It was actually one of the mandates, I should say, of whatever. My sister was like, I'll help you with everything. I'll pay for babysitting. I'll do everything. You could come live with me, but you going to school. You going to finish school, and that's not an option. So, so I went back to school in September, and that started that relationship with my kid's father. And I thought that it was 2 months, but actually it was during that summer when my daughter was born that the first time he put his hands on me. Like maybe a month after my daughter was born, he started to put his hands on me. And it was a journey, boy.
25 years.
Yeah, and I stayed there. You know what I realized? Because everybody asks me, why did you stay? And I finally came to a conclusion. My life without my father was devastating. My life without my dad, it really did a number on me. I remember just sitting in my room a lot of times talking to him, telling him that he should be here to protect me. And, why aren't you here? I was angry with him. I was angry with God. And so I really went through everything that I could to keep my kids' father in their life. Like, I just did not want them to know what it felt like to not have a father.
Yeah.
So I took a lot of stuff. I sucked up a lot. I took it for as long as I could. And the truth of the matter is my kids are awesome without him, and they would have been, I could have left so like way before that, because they still would have, I would have still been the same person. I would have still stuck in there with them. I would have still done everything that I did for them to be great. So he really wasn't a factor, but I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it.
Yeah. And that's so true because a lot of people are stuck. They're stuck out of fear of, I don't want my kids to not have a father. But sometimes it's more damaging to the kids for the parents to stay together. So having the strength to think about the kids,
yes,
and be like, hey, is this better for the kids? Or I'm still who I am. I still might be able to raise the kids on my own. But raising them in a toxic environment, I think
Yeah.
it's worse off in the long run. I think it leads to more problems in the future. And then they have to go through their own version of the trauma and the cycle continues. But you now talk about pre-divorce because divorce, well, I'm divorced. My parents are divorced, and it's always been ugly. I've only seen ugly divorce. So you talk about pre-divorce and even wrote a book about pre-divorce. So how would you describe pre-divorce?
So first, I want to say you are absolutely right. And that's what I tell women in the book, that they have to consider the damage that's being done to their children when you deciding to stay in this situation. Is worse for them to stay in it than for you to decide I'm staying in it for them. It's, so you're absolutely right. And that was something I learned later on. I learned later on, like I should have been, I should have been gone. But thank God that, things did work out the way they worked out. And it helped me to build a awesome relationship with them. Because once I realized the damage that was done,
Yeah.
I got in, I got in there with them for all of us to heal together. You know what I mean? Instead of me saying it's all right, this happened, I gotta deal with life. No, I really worked hard with them and put things in place for them to be able to be healed just like me. Yes. So that built an awesome relationship with them. So it worked out. But pre-divorce. So pre-divorce is a concept and it's an outcome. My divorce wasn't that cute. To be honest, it wasn't that cute. It wasn't nice. It was just like what most of the marriage was. It was ugly. It was toxic and things. But what I came to realize is that I came out of that and it was good. It was good. My life was good. My kids were good. Like we started to do really good in life. We were thriving. We were doing things. I'm remarried now. You know what I mean? So your divorce is it doesn't have to, what you said, you made a good point, stuck. Because most women come out and they remain stuck. They get stuck in their head. Nobody will want me. What am I gonna do now? Oh, my life is over. How I'm gonna make it? They get stuck right there. And the purpose of the book is to show them that if you just keep pushing forward, you're gonna come to that moment that no, this is not bad. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. This is good for me. This is good for my children. The world becomes your oyster at that moment. You start seeing opportunity, like I can make it. I can do it, because most of the time women, we do so much that we forget that we're great and dynamic. And we kept the house running. We helped him build a business. You know what I mean? Like I had to go through that. I'm like, wait a minute. I did all the paperwork for his business. I did the research. I created documents. I applied for licenses and LLCs, and I did all of these things. And I put up the money. How about that? How about that? I put the deposit up for the truck. You understand what I'm saying? So, but you forget and you lose your identity. You lose who you are. You stop thinking, you stop understanding that no, it's inside of me. I am capable. I'm capable to do this. And you get afraid. And I remember those days of sitting there like, oh God, like I'm gonna make it, what I'm gonna do, and being terrified for me and my kids. And so that's why I wrote the book, because it's okay. Like it's okay. I say in the book that there's a sisterhood of women that have gone before you and that have come out of this and made it. And you can make it too. There's no I love myself, right? I believe in myself. I feel very confident. I'm no different from you. You understand what I mean? I'm no different. Even though we go through stuff, there's something inside of all of us, I believe, that will propel us past all of the craziness that we go through if we just tap into it. Some of us don't realize it's there. Some of us give up on it because the work is too hard, because it does take work. It takes a lot of work to get to that place. But you can do it if you put your mind to it and kind of change your perspective on it. Instead of walking around with the scarlet letter, oh, I'm divorced, like now no one will ever want me again. I'm just, I'm a mess, or I'm broken, or whatever we tell ourselves, the foolishness that we tell ourselves to keep us in that place of being stagnation where we get stuck, you know.
Yeah, and I agree. It's not easy, and it does take a lot of strength and resilience, and that in yourself, and really going back to finding yourself and who you were before the marriage and whatever it is you went through. It's not always easy, and I really want to tap into how women can tap into that strength or find the strength, especially when there's no support system. But also, I remember when I first got divorced and it became a label. Like people will slap me with a label.
Yep, that's the scarlet letter.
So even when you want to forget about it, it's like they're constantly reminding you and looking at you like you failed, you're a failure, you can do no good. Well, good luck with work now. No one's going to want you. Just some of the things they were saying. So we're in a battle with yourself. And now the world is also constantly reminding you and looking down at you and saying, looking at you like you're a failure and not really seeing that you can have the outcome that you're talking about, a pretty life after the divorce.
Yes.
For women who are going through it now, because I went through it 10 years ago, people who are going through it now and are in that really dark place where there's no support system, the negative self-talk is constantly going in their heads. They feel like, I can't do anything. I can't get out of this. My life is over. What are some of the practical things that they can start doing today to lift them out of that?
So first off, there's a couple of things you said there that we have to unpack. Support systems, right? I believe that because I had a really good one, right? So I know people will look at me, well, you had a good support system. Your sister and your mom were there for you. That was when I was a teenager. As I got older, I became that. I'm talking about 25 years in this relationship till I was 38 years old. There was times when I was so ashamed that I wouldn't tell my sister or my mother what was happening to me, you know? And so those were the times that I had no real support, and I had to tap into my resilience and my endurance, right? So to what I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of praying, and I began to take care of myself, to really focus on me and the thing, and getting to know me better, getting to know who I am. Like, who am I without this person? That doesn't take support. That takes you. That takes you. It's all about you working on you and figuring out, who am I without this person? And not only who am I looking to become? What do I want to do with my life? Journaling is key. And for people that don't have a support system, they could create their own support system.
Okay.
When it came to my son, I created a support system because I could kind of, be there for my daughters. They were girls.
Yeah.
My son started to go through things that were not familiar to me as a female, and I was nervous, even though his father wasn't somebody that we weren't in a good place. I still approached my son with the idea, do you want to go with your father? I don't know how to help you through what you're going through. My son was like, no, absolutely not. Please don't do it. I promise I'll get it together. And so what I did was I put him into sports. I talked to his coaches. I was open and honest. You're going to have some vulnerability to get the help that you need. You know what I mean? You're going to have some vulnerability and talk to people and say, I need this help or whatever. And I spoke to them about my son, the things that his father had done to me, the things his father had done to him. And these group of men got around, and you know what? They were really like that with the whole team, but they got around that boy and supported him and encouraged him. And, you know, I watched my son transform before my eyes because he was really close to his father at one time. And I saw his little lights dimming, you know, his eyes were like, he was just like, you know, he was like, my life doesn't matter. You know, my father doesn't care about me. Like, what do I care? You know, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. And I had to push him. I had to tell him, no, you're going to do this. I'm not letting you give up on yourself or life or anything else. We have to fight for ourselves and fight for our kids. We have to. Let me tell you, this as I live and breathe, as you live and breathe, your husband, your ex-husband, my ex-husband, they're not the ones breathing life into us. We women relinquish so much of our power that when they gone, it's you know that they're connected to everything. They're connected to our happiness. They're connected to, you know, whether I'm gonna make it or not, and that is all false. That's false. It's all false. It's all like delusions that we keep in our minds, and it's an anchor holding us down. It's all false. It's all false. It really is. It really, and so, but so many of us women, we, you know, that's why my husband, I love him. He makes me happy. But my happiness, my real true inner happiness is not connected to him. And I'll never allow that to be connected to anybody again. Because when he leaves, or if he ever leaves, or if something happens to him, then I go down with it when I still have to rise. I still have to stand. I still have to be me. I still have to move forward. I still have children. I have grandchildren. I have a life, you know. And so I would tell women, and if it's so bad, there's nothing wrong with therapy. By the grace of God, I didn't have to go, but and you would think the stuff I went through, I would have needed to be in therapy. And I'm a guidance counselor. So you would think the first thing I would run to is therapy. No, I didn't. You know, I prayed, I believed in myself. I was like, you know what? I'm not, and you have to have like this resolve, this like refusal to give up, or refusal to let him walk off with my life. You know, you've already done all of these, you know, we've been through all of these things. You mean to tell me during the marriage, you get to crush me and make me feel broken, and then you leave and I'm still gonna still crushed and broken? No. So it's a lot of different things that women can do, and there's a lot of support groups out there nowadays. There's therapists out there. There's some really good ones, you know. If you have some friends that are talking, I love my friends, I do. But I can't, when I'm going through stuff, I don't want to entertain a lot of, like, when I was going through divorce, I didn't want to keep hearing the same stories. I didn't want to be male bashing. I needed something to help me come out of it. Yes. You know what I mean? So your conversations need to be productive and positive, something that's building you up and bringing you out. Not something to help you stay in resentment, anger, bitterness. Like, oh yeah, men of this and this. Oh yeah, remember that guy? Yeah. You gotta shut off that noise. You gotta surround yourself and put yourself someplace that's positive and that's gonna yield growth. You know, bringing you out, not keeping you into the bondage of it. Yeah. So it's just a lot of things that women can do. They have to figure out what works for them and do what works for them. I don't listen to nobody when I'm going through stuff, because what works, you know, what might have worked for you might not work for me. Yeah. You have to find what's tailor-made for you and your family and your situation, and then dig deep into it. And it is not easy. No. It is not easy. I promise you, it's just, you know, and a lot of women, you'll get coaches, you'll get, a lot of these speakers, and they'll make it seem like, oh, it's so wonderful. Yeah, listen, girl, and I have to be honest. It's not an easy road, but it is doable, and you can do it. It's not impossible,
Yeah. And I think, you said a lot of things. So I hope that people are taking notes and at least finding the strength within themselves to want a better life, to want to move forward with their lives. And I think, I'm just going to hold on to the last thing you were talking about, who you're talking to, who you're surrounding yourselves with, because it's easy to think whoever is in your immediate circle is who you should run to. Sometimes they're not very helpful. They want to keep talking about the marriage and what went on. How could you? You stayed. Why did you stay? How come you never let us know? And then you keep believing the negatives over and over again. And you said there's a lot of resentment that builds up. It doesn't help you move forward. Well, it didn't help you move forward because it's just constantly the same conversation. And they find out what's happening with his life. Can you imagine? We heard that he did this and he's here now. And he's like, how do you feel? Because they're waiting for that reaction from you, and it's keeping you stuck. You're not moving forward. So I love what you said about surrounding yourself with the right people, having the right conversations, more positive conversations about where you want to go, not where you are. That's all.
It's nothing we can do about our past but learn from it.
Exactly.
That's it. That's all you can do about your past. I'm so sorry. There's no time machines going back. You can't pray it to be different. You can't, there's no magic. There's nothing that you can do about the past. So it's no use holding on to it. It's rubbish. It's done. It's finished. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's nothing you could do but learn from it and do something different going forward. And that's the issue. And you know what? Sometimes when you have something, and I'm not saying that what people have gone through is small, but I'm just saying as far as conversation goes, a conversation can make something so huge.
Yes.
And give it so much more power. And people don't even understand what their words are doing, but building it up. And, you felt like, you felt bad. You felt a little bad. By the time you finish having that conversation with your girlfriend, you on fire. You in the tent. Oh yeah, I didn't see it that way. Oh, no.
Bless them. We know they do mean well, but again, this is your life. They do, but yeah, not always helpful. Not always helpful.
You have to take control over your own healing and your own process, because they mean well. But trust me, it does not work out well when you finish getting in that conversation. Next thing you know, you picking up the phone to call and tell this person off. You wasn't really thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or your girlfriend called saying she was calling to check on you. How you doing today? Girl, I've been thinking about you and what he did. And you was sitting there, you was fine. You was pulling it together. By the time the conversation over, you calling, and what you did to me. You're like, wait, where did that come from? You're really, and I'm not in, people are into whatever they're into, but I'm not into like, the energy and all these, but people's energies really do transfer. It do. You could be in a certain space and you get around a group of people, before you know it, you are acting, thinking, you're speaking just like they are, because these things, that you pick up these things. And so you have to be really, really careful in the process. You can't, you just have to figure out what works for you. And it's okay. It's okay to kind of step back, understanding that the people around you do love you. But if they don't have anything to say or anything to help the situation, then it's because I know what I went through. I know I was there. I know I believe in my own mind that I stayed too long. You telling me that I stayed too long You should have been left. He was all of this, that, and the other, and you knew it. And that doesn't help. It makes you feel dumb. Like it makes you feel dumber, actually, because you already feel like, oh God, why did I stay so long? Why did I do this? I don't need to be reminded of that over and over again. My sister read my book and she just told me, she was like, I just wish you would have told me.
Mm.
I just wish you would have told me. And I said to her, I said, it's okay, sis. I said, I'm here. I'm okay. You can hear me, right? You see me? I'm good. It's okay. Cause she was feeling pain from stuff that happened before and feeling like, somehow they let me down, her and my brother. And I'm like, no, I didn't tell you. I know in my heart of hearts what would have happened had my family known what I was going through. So nobody needs to walk around with guilt. Nobody needs to walk around, feeling this stuff. I wrote the book. It took me a while because it was kind of like reliving some of that stuff. I said, but I don't even want us to like really go over it. Like, it's okay. It's okay. If y'all feel like y'all need to talk to me about some things that y'all read, I'm willing.
Yeah.
I don't need, I'm okay. I'm here and I'm fine, so it's really a matter of putting yourself in the right environment and in the right headspace. That's why whenever I've worked with someone or talked with someone about these issues, I start with your mind. Like, you have to see it different. Like, you have to stop looking at yourself like a victim. You're not a failure. This is life, and stuff happens. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's really okay to pick up your pieces and start to put your life back together again. It's okay. It's happened to so many. And what's crazy to me is how many women still allow themselves to walk around with that divorce label, allowing societal views to dictate how they feel about themselves and define who they are. When it's happened to so many people. So many.
Over 50%.
You're
not the minority anymore, no.
The majority. Letting it do this to you. Don't. Yeah. And that was the point of me writing that book. Like, no, don't allow that people to define you by a divorce. And like, this is one of my favorite sayings now. There is life after what's his name. Like
ouch.
Remember his name?
There is life. And I think one of the greatest fears of people who've gone through a divorce, especially for women, is moving on to a next relationship, if it's even possible, because for some reason the men seem to move on a lot quicker and remarry and life goes on, marry someone who's even younger. And then a lot of the women are stuck in their heads, I'm too old, no one's going to want me, I already have kids. What advice do you have for women who've gone through a very crappy marriage, a very crappy divorce, and now want to move forward, want to be open to healthy relationships, but probably don't even know what a healthy relationship is?
But see, you hit the nail on the head, right? First of all, I completely believe women need to take a little bit of time off. It's the revolving door of dating and relationships. It is not allowed for you to have that space to do that self-reflection we talked about earlier. Like, who am I? What do I want after this? Really, I love writing. I love writing down all of the stuff that didn't go well and all of the stuff that did go well. Okay, I have a list now of what I don't want, what I'm not taking with me. This doesn't need to go. I don't need this. And developing yourself. You don't want to continue to just jump in relationship to relationship. And I think for women, a lot of times we don't want to be alone.
Yes.
When sometimes alone time is wonderful. Take some time off, develop you, get to know who you are, what you like, what you want, what you're willing to accept, what's your non-negotiables. Like, all of this stuff is important. I told somebody the other day, we go to school to be doctors, to be guidance counselors, to be teachers. We go and we get training. We don't, nobody don't really train us for relationships. We might see our parents and kind of try to model some of it, but we don't get training. We don't, develop ourselves in that area so that it could be a healthy relationships, because there are healthy relationships out there. There really are healthy relationships out there. No perfect relationships. Yes. So let's don't go forward looking for the perfect, but look for somebody that's perfect for you, that fits you, but when you jumping in and out, back and forth, it kind of hinders you from that work you need to do on us. We're human beings, always evolving into a better version of ourselves or a worse version of ourselves. It depends on what you want to do. If you want to evolve into a better version of yourself, then do the work. Yeah. We got to do the work. We can't escape the work. It's not going to happen without the work. Nothing's going to happen without, you're going to get out whatever you put into it. Mm-hmm. And there is an opportunity to find love out there. I think that women, like I said, we don't want to be alone. And then when we get into our heads in that place, like, oh, everybody else got a man, I don't have a man, I should have a man, something's wrong with me if I don't have a man.
Exactly. Yeah.
You are slowly but surely pulling desperation into yourself to where you start doing anything and taking anything just to have a man. I don't want to live like that. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. I really want what I want and what I deserve. We also have to not allow people to devalue us. I like that illustration of the $100 bill. When you crunch it up, kick it, throw it in the dirt, put it under the water, rub it in the mud, kick it around. You take it out, you go to the store, you still got your $100
bill.
You know what I mean? So I'm still valuable. You're still valuable. She's still valuable. No matter what we went through, whatever they did, we just have to keep holding on to that value and let it shine. Let it out, ladies.
Let it out. I love that, because I think, just to what you said, people want to rush into the next relationship because women, we don't like to be alone, and that's the reality. But taking that time out, like you said, I think that's really good advice. Mm-hmm. Take the time out, especially if you've just come up from a very, very long toxic relationship where you lost yourself, you don't know who you are anymore. So do the inner work. And it's not easy work, like we've said, but it's necessary work. Yes. Inner work to figure out who you are, what you want, what your non-negotiables are. You need to know what those are, because if you don't, then you just settle for anything. And then the same vicious cycle repeats itself. So I think for any woman who's maybe currently going through a divorce, or you've just recently gone to a divorce, now is the time to take the time out to reconnect with who you truly are. Yes. Figure out what you truly want, what you deserve, and hold on to that. And don't just settle for anything and be in a hurry to be in the next relationship. You want to get ahead of the man. Oh, I got into a relationship without me. You see, I'm not the problem, it's you. No, it's not a competition. It's not a competition. No, it's not about you. It's your life. It's having that pretty life after divorce and really getting what you really deserve. Like you said, your value hasn't changed, and you should be able to attract that which you truly desire.
I did so my last and final chapter in my book is on finding new love. And I put it last purposely because that's when you come out of something like this, like a toxic relationship, you really need to not be thinking about finding a man. Mm-hmm. It needs to be the last thing on your mind. We always think, how to replace. Wait, what do they say? How to get over one and you get another one, and all of that is kind of like, it's kind of foolishness, and it's immature. So if we want to grow up and be mature women, we have to start doing the things that are best for us and taking care of us and making sure that we're healthy, mind, body, and soul. And then we can go then. And truth be told, when you do that, you attract somebody else that's healthy.
True. Yep.
Because as long as you got all that mess and you ain't clean none of it out, and you're just trying to find somebody, you keep finding the same, and women know this. You find the same guy. And something, he just got a different face, different bank account number, drive a different car, but this is the same dude.
Same guy.
And after a while, you have to stop and go, wait, something ain't right.
Yeah.
Something ain't right. And it's okay. I also say in the book about how it's okay to have issues. It's really okay. We all have some issue or something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The issue is, if you don't know you have an issue and address the issue, there's your problem. Yeah. It's okay. So when I found myself trying to date, and I didn't like it in the first place. I didn't like dating. And then I'm like, so wait, something is wrong. Something is off here.
Yeah.
Something is wrong with me. Because I keep, this is not my thing. I don't understand how I got into this lane where these type of guys are trying to talk to me, but I'm giving off some energy there or something. Girl, I'm telling you, I talk about dogs in the book, and I'm not calling them dogs, but you know how dogs have a sense, so they know a woman that's in another dog that's in heat.
Yeah.
We are greater creature and creation than dogs. So you telling me that men can't sniff you a mile away, that you got issues, they could tell from your body language whether you confident or not, or whether you got, you looking like, you desperate, or you constantly.
You can tell.
They can tell. And they will prey on that because there's some of them out there that's predators, and they're looking for women like that.
Absolutely.
The women that have themselves together, they walk a certain way with confidence. Some men won't even approach them. If they know they a joker and they a buster, they ain't got nothing going on but foolishness, they won't even approach that woman.
Yeah.
I like being her. I like being her.
Yeah.
No, don't even waste my time with it and come over here with your stuff, please. I appreciate it. Yeah. But you have to examine yourself. You can't keep going around. Yeah, you can't keep going around.
It's the men. They're the ones.
It's the one.
It's you.
You.
You keep attracting a certain type of man. You're the problem.
Yeah.
Go to the inner work, like you said.
Yep.
Get healthy so that you can attract healthy men. But the good news is, they're available. Find love again is available. And I know that is one of the greatest fear of women who stay stuck in a toxic relationship. The relationship is not going anywhere. It's hurting your kids, but you keep staying. If your fear is that there's no love after, there is love after.
Yeah.
Take the time out, heal yourself, figure out who you are, what you want, and start attracting the right kind of partner. But again, don't jump right into divorce to the next relationship. Take the time that you need to heal. Healing is very necessary for this journey.
My cousin told me one time that her cousin on her mother's side told her that because her boyfriend, whatever, he's not going to marry her. He messes around on her. Mm-hmm. She supports him, and he physically abuses her. Wow. And she said she tried to talk to her, like, what are you doing? And she said she would rather have a piece of a man than no man at all. Wow. Let me tell you something. Wow. I feel sorry for women that get to that place in life. That's a horror. You have sold yourself so short. Yeah. You have settled. You have you're culpable in your own pain and misery that you're going through because your mindset is completely off. Yeah. Completely off. I don't want a piece of anything. I don't give a piece of myself. So I don't want a piece of anything. So, and then she doesn't give a piece of herself. She's giving everything. She's giving all of it. Yeah. But your expectation is a piece. That's completely unacceptable. And that's the stuff that gets me with women when I talk to women. I've heard women say, oh, I gotta act crazy for me to get a man because men like women that
Like who did this? Who did this to us?
yeah.
But yeah, but again, I think it goes back to being aware,
Mm-hmm.
being aware of what is going on within your life, and that's where you have people like yourself who are helping women know better. Because when you know better, you do better. A lot of people are stuck. A lot of people went through traumatic childhoods. Like my parents went through a nasty divorce. My father wasn't so much in my life, so all of that is still playing. It's there. The narrative is there, and now I'm a victim of the experiences and the trauma that I went through. But there is help, and you need to seek the help. If you can't do it by yourself, get the help. There are professionals. Reach out to Marie for right out loud. Please don't want the piece of anybody. You are worth way more than that.
Way more than that.
You
Way more than that.
created whole. You're deserving of a loving partner. You're deserving of happiness. We all are. And I really hope that get her book, get the Pretty Divorce, so that you can have the same outcome. There is life after a divorce, and it can be a happy, beautiful life.
Yep.
What final words do you have for our listeners today, Marie?
Just that, we're women, we're beautiful, we help to populate the earth. We are special. We have greatness on the inside of us. We give the earth life. You know what I mean? There's something to that. There's something to that. We are more than just our bodies. We are so much more than just our bodies, and it's awesome to be a woman, and we should have the pleasure and the joy and the happiness that comes with being a woman, not allow our womanhood to be trampled over and degraded and taken advantage of. And so I'm just, I'm hoping for I always pray. I prayed in my book also, but I pray for the women that I talk to, for the women that listen to me on podcast, that read my book. I really pray for us to come into our own and come into like who we were sent here to be.
Absolutely.
We were sent here with some sort of purpose. And I pray for all women to come into that place of understanding who they were sent here to be. Because I think that's the greatest place to be in the whole wide world. Like just to be okay in your skin and being in your purpose of who God sent you in the earth to be. Yeah. And so yeah, I just would love, I would love for people to read my book. I do. But more than that, I really want women to really love themselves. Like love yourself. And when you love yourself, you hold people accountable and you make them love you properly.
That's true. That's true. And I think that is a beautiful message to end the show with. I really hope that if anybody's going through a divorce or you're stuck in some dark hole after your divorce, that you reach out to Marie, read the book, Pretty Divorce, and get the help that you need. But more importantly, love yourself as women, because we are special.
Yes, we
so
are.
go forth and live in your purpose. Thank you so much, Marie, for being here with us today. Thank you for all the nuggets, the words of wisdom. I'm sure a lot of people found it very, very helpful, and it can help them move forward with their lives after a divorce and have a pretty awesome life as well.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I have fun.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you everyone for listening to the show this week. I hope you had a great time. I will see you same time next week on iRise Conversations with Joan. Thanks for listening.